It's time to challenge absolutely everything that you've ever learned and to embrace and embody this bold truth that you are worthy of absolutely anything and everything that you yearn and desire for, and settling is no longer an option. Hey, it's Star Monroe, licensed psychotherapist, master life coach, and founder of the High Standards Woman. The High Standards Woman is a woman who knows how valuable she is, and therefore she will always get what she wants. Now, to become a woman who knows she's worthy, knows she's valuable, you've got to do a little bit of disrupting. We've got to agitate that conditioning that you've taken on board to believe that your dreams are never going to be your reality. And I'm here for the women who demand more, who break out in hives at the idea of settling. And as I share this with you, I'll share a little bit about my backstory as well, because one thing that I know to be true about myself is I'm not here to settle, and I'm here to be my most excellent version of me and live an exceptional life in absolutely every single area. So it's good to know. It's always good to know about our conditioning, because once you can see it, you can then decide to do something different with it. I'm all about you taking full self-responsibility for yourself as you sashay through this life. And you want to know that since the day you were born, women especially have been subjugated to relentless conditioning, societal brainwashing that dictates how you should think, behave, dress, act, and how you actually see yourself. And you're told, whether full on frontal from people or subliminally by the societal as a whole, that wanting more, desiring more, more success, more money, more freedom, more choices, more love, more abundance, more first class travel, more luxury clothes is a flaw. It's something to be frowned upon. In fact, there's disgust there from a lot of people when a woman actually declares to the world at large that, oh, no, this is not what I'm here for. I'm here for bigger, better, bolder, more flamboyant things in my life. And what people tend to do, because human beings love to put other human beings in boxes, is they will label a woman who wants more as greedy, selfish, ungrateful. And I've definitely had this one in my life. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? And the thing is, if we don't challenge this conditioning, this brainwashing, what it does, it inserts a little worm inside our belief system. If we don't disrupt that, it becomes our toxic narrative. We say it to ourselves, and then we believe that we can't do it. So what happens is you give up on your dreams. You're like, oh, this is not for me. And then guess what happens? Because you give up on your dreams and you're like, this is not for me, because really I should be happy with my lot. I really shouldn't be greedy. I shouldn't be selfish, because nice women aren't selfish and nice women aren't greedy. And really, people have got it worse off than me. So what happens then is you start settling. You start settling. You start settling in your business or career. You start settling in relationships. You start settling in how you treat your body. And this has a knock-on effect, because your yearnings and desires never go away, ever. And I talk from experience, because I have I've got complacent and lazy with myself over the years, and I've also got really scared about my success and how to handle it and what to do with it in my life. And so what I've done is I tapped down on my dreams, and I felt like at times I put them inside me and I locked them up and I threw away the key, yet they never go away. They never, never, never disappear. They simmer and they leak out in really unhealthy ways. Let's see if you recognize any of these. Perhaps if you have these yearnings and desires for wanting more and you're like, oh no, this is not for me, I can't do it, all the other nonsense that you're saying to yourself, you find yourself eating over and over again when you're not hungry. Maybe you're drinking too many glasses of Sauvignon Blanc or Chablis or Chateau Neuf de Pape. I always used to like drinking that when I used to drink, to numb out the pain of a life that isn't really cutting it for you. Or maybe you're settling in relationships. No shade. I've been here on all these counts. You're settling in relationships where you're not seen and you're definitely not respected or valued. The thing is, all of these symptoms of you settling are coming from a deeper issue, are coming from the fact of your fear of demanding more, your fear of rocking the boat, your fear of daring to step into your power. Now, when I say power, I know this word is bandied around a lot online. And yet when I say the word power, your power is your genius, and your genius is your higher self, and it is lying in your DNA. And when people say, or when you see someone who is authentically themselves, and someone who is authentically themselves knows who they are, knows where they're going, and knows they're going to get it, you're attracted to that person. They're magnetizing. They have charisma, riz. They have that riz, and you're like, ooh, woo. So your power lies within you. And yet if you're settling for scraps, for crumbs, if you're like, no, it's not so bad. If you've let the fears, if you're coming from the place where the fears live, it's one of my favorite sayings. If you're living from the place where the fears live, then you're cock blocking your pathway, your connection to your genius, to your higher self. And that is the connection to yourself. So a lot of women in my world, well, I would say 100% of the women that come into my world are living in their heads. They're living up here. So they're very logical, rational, and your brain, your mind is one wisdom center of your body. You've got 7 wisdom centers: your throat, your heart, your stomach, your pelvis, your bones, your legs. Like, when's the last time you connected to these wisdom centers? This is where your genius lies. This is where that voice, that feeling, that sensation of wanting more lives. Your job is to connect back to it. Your job is to feel the fear and do it anyway. Great book, actually, by Suzanne Jeffries, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And to come back to the conditioning, this conditioning that is teaching women to settle for crumbs, to be happy with their lot, it teaches you to be meek, quiet, mild, and it strips you away of who you are. You end up being like everybody else. You end up looking like everybody else. You end up sounding like everybody else. You end up dressing like everybody else. And we want you being you. We want you being your quirky, quintessential, fabulous, flamboyant you. And you can't do that if you're drinking the Kool-Aid. So today, let me get my cup. Put down the Kool-Aid. Put it down. Stop drinking it. Make a choice that this is not for you. I'm no longer going to settle. I'm no longer going to be disconnected from my higher self. Because when you live like this, it stifles your genius. And that's when you run numb, deny, ignore yourself. That's when you do all those funky, weird habits. I'm going to read this from you because one of my favorite authors is Naomi Wolf, and she's written in The Beauty Myth about this. She discusses women have been symptomatically silenced and subdued, and our desires have been minimized and our potential curtailed. And as I said, no matter how much you try to run, numb, deny or ignore, and no shade because I've been there and I lived the majority of my life between 11 and 40, running, numbing, ignoring, denying myself. I was an addict of cocaine, an alcoholic. I spent all my money. I was in various terrible relationships, codependence, abusive, emotional and physical. And I had a really abusive relationship with myself. I hated who I was. Until I got into my 40s and I went, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. It's so unhealthy. And I could see various patterns that were coming up and I kept repeating certain things. And I was like, no, I need to do something different. And the thing is that when you have this big yearning inside you, these big desires, it's your creativity. As I said, it's your genius. This is what is going to light you up from the inside out. And you need to access it, because I have lived a life where I stopped my access to it and I destroyed myself. I destroyed myself with all my wonky habits, because the pain of me not living in my genius, my creativity, caused me to numb, run, ignore and deny. And yet, however dark and dismal it got for me in my addictions, this relentless yearning never stopped. And the way that I would describe it in my darker days when I was in this 7-year addiction to cocaine, it was like this. I'm still here. I'm still here. It was a tap. And it never left my side. It said, you're not okay, but you will be okay. And then more recently, as I'm a woman who makes her dreams come true over and over and over again, and more recently, it's like, this isn't it. You don't get to rest here. There's more for you. There's more for you. And I also, this is why I love doing this work, because I live it. It's not like I've read a textbook about this. I actually I live it. And as I said, I'm a woman who makes her dreams come true. And I moved from the UK to Turkey a couple of years ago. And I sat on my veranda last year and I looked around and I went, baby, this is it. This is what you wanted. You always wanted to live in Turkey. Here you are. And I went, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. And yet a barrage of voices, oh, why can't you be happy? Oh my God, you always want more. Who do you think you are? Came at me. That's my conditioning. That's your conditioning. This is why you've got to get really in control of what goes on in your mind, because otherwise you're being led by all these voices that you've been listening to all your life. And I dug my stubborn Taurian heels into the ground last year and I went, no, there is more. There is more, because one of my old patterns is to shame myself. It's to go, oh, no, you're not doing enough. Oh, you're never happy. So I shame myself and I'm like, no, you can do better. There's more for you. And what I've learned as I've got older, I'm 53 if you're wondering, and I've learned that the only destination that we've all got is death. That's death. Most of you are moving through life thinking, when I lose 20 pounds, when I'm fit and healthy, when I've got the house, when I've got XYZ in the bank, when I've got my partner, when I'm traveling the world, I'm going to be happy, peaceful. No, baby, you're still there. You're still there with yourself. You're still there. That's not the destination. There's a quote by Rumi, and Rumi says, follow what lights you up, it will not lead you astray. And this is what I know to be true now, is that I'm here to follow my dreams and my yearnings. I'm going to be talking more about this in a minute. We're not meant to stay gripped to a fixed identity. We're meant to evolve and expand. This is in our human nature, and this is what your genius wants. And here's what happens. As you go after your next dream, your next yearning, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to feel your fears. There's nothing you can do with your fears. You've got to go through them and feel them. And what that does, you grow. You don't grow in your comfort zone. You don't grow when everything is well and happy. You grow when life is hard and gnarly and you choose to do things differently. And so what happens is you make that dream come true And then you've learned a whole new set of lessons about yourself. You've you've got a whole bank of wisdom on, oh, I did that. And here's the kicker in this, is that you've got to be able to recognize what you've done. Because a lot of you, especially my perfectionists out there, nothing is ever good enough. And again, no shade, I was a perfectionist. Nothing's ever good enough. So you keep striving, so you keep running away from yourself. And so there's this whole deepening of the process of healing that perfectionist part of you, realizing that's your conditioning, and really learning compassion and kindness with oneself and recognizing your achievements and celebrating yourself every single step of the way. Nothing is inconsequential. Nothing is inconsequential. So it's celebrating the small things and the big things. And what happens is, as you move towards these yearnings and these desires, it grows you as a person. As you grow as a person, you grow in courage, you grow in confidence, you grow in boldness, you grow in wisdom. And that's what life's all about. This ever expanding evolution of you. And if you flip that, the opposite to that is settling and living in your comfort zone. And that's not going to make you feel alive. You are going to slow. If you're anything like me, you will die a slow death settling and in your comfort zone. Also, if you're anything like me, I know that you're not here to be meek and mild and toe the line and be put in a box. And that's what society loves to do with us, because when they put us in a box, it makes us more manageable. I'm here for the women who, and I was doing this on my podcast, I was like, I haven't even got a word for it, who you just want to take up space. Like, it's voluminous. I can't even say that word. It's like, it's huge. There's an energetic feel to it. It's vibrant. It's full. It's alive. That's when I say the word alive, that's what I mean by alive. And it's good to know that your yearning, your desire for more is not about greed. Again, that is another toxic narrative that you've been spoon-fed. As I've said, and I've outlined and I've been talking about it and getting very passionate about it, it's about your growth. Your more doesn't have to match my more. I'll be truly honest with you. I'm here for more wealth, more abundance, more opportunities, more choices, more freedom. I'm traveling business first class all the way, baby. I'm dressing in exquisite clothes. I want to have a house I want to have 2 houses in different countries. I want to be able to travel when I want. And my lifestyle, I've set it up. I buy things without looking at the price tag. Like, I'm here to live in abundance. I'm here to receive my blessings. Now, my more, as I said, doesn't have to match your more. All you need to know is that inside you, this yearning, this whisper, words, tapping, sensation, it's your genius. You're here to be your most excellent version of you. And it's your job to become the vehicle to make it happen. It's your job to get out of your own way. You want to write that one down. It's your job to get out of your own way. And what I want to reiterate now is whatever you want more of, it's valid. It's valid. I'm here to advocate for your yearnings. I'm here to give you permission to yearn, to want more. And as I said, women like us will die a slow death if we settle for crumbs. And I've done it over and over again in my life. Settled for crumbs in relationships that are abusive. Settled for crumbs in my business, in my life. Like, I got lazy, I got complacent. Here's the thing about minds and bodies, they love the path of least resistance. You want to live an excellent life, you want more from life, you have to demand more from yourself. You do not get a hall pass in this work. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to fight for your yearnings and your dreams every single day. And what I know to be true, I've been working with women for over 35 years. Women You're a warrioress. You need to fight for yourself. And here's the other thing what women do is they're fighting for everybody else. They're in everybody else's business, trying to fix, solve, resolve, make everything better. You can't change anybody else except for yourself. And I get a lot of backlash when I talk about this online. And the thing is, though, is you make yourself better. You pour into your cup. You fill yourself up over and over again. You're going to be better. You're going to be able to serve better, support better, help better, think better. You're not going to be jumbled. You're not going to be overwhelmed. This is why it's your job to come back and take responsibility of yourself. And if you're scratching your head and you're like, yes, this all sounds really good, but how the hell do I do it? Well, it's simple, yet not easy. All the best things are. You've got to shift how you see yourself. You've got to shift your self-identity. Then you have to rewire your mindset. Now, there's a double whammy with that one. You've got to rewire your mindset, but you've also got to recalibrate your body, because you can be thinking something. And I don't know whether you've ever done this, is that you will say affirmations to yourself. And so you'll be saying them, but there's no congruence within your body. You always want to have congruence with what you say. So there's nuances in how you speak to yourself and you reframing everything, but also you need to create safety within your body. So we do that somatically so you can level up, so you can upgrade, so you can become this version of the woman that you know that you've always wanted to become. And you have to align both your mind and your body, because otherwise, when you don't, you hit a set point and you self-sabotage. I don't know about you, but this is how I used to live my life. I used to excel in areas of my life, whether it was money, business, my body, my fitness. And I'd get to this new level, but I didn't know how to maintain it. So I would self-sabotage and bring myself back down to where my body felt comfortable. So can you start to see that it's like this inner job? And then also on top of that, you must, this is so important, you've got to get a grip. You've got to understand your emotional landscape, and you've got to ride your emotions and not let your emotions ride you. So if you are a woman who moves through the world and you react to everything, you get antsy, you get overwhelmed, you get anxious, you get sad when other people get sad, and you're in everyone else's business, and you get overwhelmed, you get confused, you're definitely disconnected from your body. Your number one job is to create a sense of calm and stability within your body. I call it groundedness, present, like this deep presence with myself and my body. So you can train, this is what I love about this, everything's trainable, train your body to reside more in its parasympathetic nervous system. This is rest and digest. This is when you have more space. When you're in your sympathetic nervous system, you're in fight, flight, fawn, freeze, flaps. You're always reacting. There's no space. And so what happens, especially if you're a woman and you're becoming a high standards woman and you're learning different ways, you've got to give yourself space to learn new ways in life as well. Now, I talked earlier about this human need for expansion and growth. It's inherent in us. It's in your genes. It's in your DNA. We're actually rolling waves of consciousness designed, I'm reading this and I don't want to miss a bit. We're designed to hit the shores of who we are over and over again. So we shatter. So if you imagine we're rolling waves of consciousness and we're designed to hit the shore like a big wave and shatter and evolve over and over again. And the thing is, you clinging to a fixed identity, and you might be going, well, I'm not clinging to a fixed identity. Like, this is what I want. And yet, if you're saying I'm always a people pleaser, I'm always a good girl, I always get treated badly in relationships, I always attract emotionally unavailable men, or I never get the pay rise, or I can't ask for what I want, or this or that, you're clinging on to a fixed identity. And what I say to all my clients, wherever they come into in my world, you got to focus on who you are. You got to focus on what you want, your North Star, and you've got to focus on what you already have. So people will say that's a grateful practice. I love to say it's an appreciation. I have an appreciation for what I have already, which then goes back to me talking a minute ago about celebrating all the baby steps in your journey. If you cling to any fixed identity, and this is why, and you might come at me and go, well, the high standards woman is a fixed identity, and yet it's a North Star. It's a North Star. Yes, she has principles. She has morals. She's got a moral compass. She has values. She has standards. And yet it's something that you can input into, because I'm not here for you to follow me like a sheep. I'm here to open doors up so you can live aligned with your genius. And I know to do that, you have to live in excellence. And so the high standards woman is an aspiration that we move towards. Me as well. I'm moving towards being a high standards woman every single moment of every single day. Nothing is inconsequential. And so I'm always asking myself, well, what can I learn from that? Can I refine it? Can I edit it? How do I reframe? And this is the thing, most of you, and I know because I've worked with women for so long, most of you are rushing through life at a clip. You don't even know what you're doing. When's the last time you actually sat down and took a moment to contemplate about how you're moving through life, to reflect and go, well, is this working for me? How's this relationship working out? How's my money working out for me? How's my relationship with myself working out? Don't cling on to a fixed identity unless it's asking you to expand, because you will trap yourself into a box, and then therefore you're trapping with yourself with your own limitations. You're not here to settle. You're here to live out your yearnings. You're here to make your dreams come true. You're here to make your dreams come true and to become the most exceptional version of you and live a life of excellence in absolutely every single area of your life. Now, I was saying earlier about the warrioress in women. You have to activate that warrioress. You've got to fight for yourself. You've got to fight for your dreams. You've got to fight for your yearnings. You've got to fight for yourself. Every single day, I fight for myself, because there's a lazy version of me. There's a version of me that loves to moan and groan and procrastinate. And I'm like, I see you. And as you listen to me and as you devour more of my wisdom, you'll hear me talk about all these pieces of our psyche that are inside us. Your job is not to ignore any of these pieces. Your job is to bring them all the way home. And your version, the version I'm talking to now, the most mature version, like my job is to take really good care of these versions of myself and not let them lead the show. Because otherwise, I know what happens if I date, and I'm consciously single. When I dated and I wasn't awake, my wounded inner child dated. And anyone that gave her attention, game over. It was like, oh, yes, zero boundaries. So your job, my job, is to take really good care of all past versions of us. In fact, we bow down to the past versions of us. We bow down to them because we wouldn't be the woman we are today without those past versions. We are an amalgamation of all our past versions. So this is why I pay homage to all my past versions. And these past versions, this is why I say to myself, well, these past versions don't want me to sit and settle. They want more. They want to see what is, this is what I say. I want to see what's available for me when I step out my comfort zone, when I challenge myself, when I listen to the yearnings, when I open the door on my expansion. I want to see what's available for me. I want to see what I can learn about myself. I want to see what I discover. Think about life as a game. It is a game. And unless you play it, you're going to get played. And if you still think your happiness or your whatever is going to come from when you reach a certain destination, you're destination living and you're never going to be happy. The only destination you're ever going to get is death. And life is a journey. So it's about embodying the ride, like loving the ride. Even when you don't love it, you're like, I love it. I don't love it, but I love it. I love a paradox, and life is a paradox. Life is not about black and white. It's about living in the paradox. It's about really embracing all versions of us. And that means we listen to this deeper part of ourselves, our genius, our higher self. We listen. That part wants you to make your dreams a reality. It wants it. And I've said this over and over again in this video. Settling will destroy you. I've done it many times. If you're a woman who demands more, if you're a woman who wants to experience life to the fullest, if you feel this feeling, this voice, this sensation, here's what I'm going to leave you with. Listen to it. Create a dialogue. Start journaling. Listen to it. Stop ignoring it. I get it. It can be scary. You've got to feel your fears and do it anyway. And listen. And hang around with women that are making their dreams a reality. Also hang around with women that have been through the fire. That understand this as well. And as I have been coming back home to my yearnings, my dreams, and allowing my genius to flood out of me, I've been looking for women to inspire me, men to inspire me, and various people have, but I never found anyone that really spoke to me. So it's been my journey of reclamation and finding the wisdom and experimenting in life that has led me to where I am now. I would love for you, if this wakes you up, if it resonates in the bones of your body, to come and join the realm of the high standards women. We're here to live in excellence. We're here to make our dreams come true. We're women of worth who know we're always going to get what we want. Come and join my inner circle. It's free. You get a newsletter every single week. And then come and find me on my podcast as well, the Star Monroe Show. And I'm all over every social media, TikTok Star Monroe, Instagram Ms. Star Monroe. And until next time, with love and high standards, you are a woman who gets what she wants always. Never forget that.